بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مشاهدي الكرام، طلبة وطالبات دبلوم التعليم العام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا بكم معنا حلقة جديدة من حلقات برنامج درس على الهواء. خلاص نعلن العد التنازلي، اليوم لغة إنجليزية، كيمياء، وبعد ذلك التاريخ، ومن ثم ننهي البرنامج، كما ستنهون امتحاناتكم إن شاء الله للفصل الدراسي الثاني من العام الدراسي الحالي 2014-2015. اليوم مجموعة من الطلبة اللي عندهم الأحياء أدوا امتحانهم في هذه المادة، وكانت أيضا هناك حالات من الرضا وأيضا السعادة بهذا البرنامج، بهذا الامتحان، كونه أيضا من الامتحانات الجميلة، مثل امتحان الأمس اللي كان هذا وطني. أيضا كان كثير من الطلبة ملاحظاتهم جدا إيجابية، وكانوا جدا مبسوطين من الامتحان، امتحان هذا وطني، وامتحان الأحياء أيضا اللي كان اليوم. الحلقة راح نبدأها إن شاء الله بعد الفاصل، كونوا معنا. أهلا بكم مجددا أيها الأحبة متابعي تلفزيون سلطنة عمان. نتواصل معكم وبرنامج درس على الهواء. مثل ما ذكرت في مقدمة البرنامج، حلقة اليوم نخصصها لمادة اللغة الإنجليزية، وأيضا كوننا المفروض تكون في حلقة سابقة للمادة، لكن أيضا لارتباط التلفزيون بمتابعة الحالة المدارية في ذلك اليوم لم نتمكن من بث الحلقة. إن شاء الله راح نمدد يعني ولو ربع ساعة إن شاء الله في وقت اليوم، أيضا كنوع من التعويض بالنسبة لوقت البرنامج. ضيوفي في هذه الحلقة الأستاذة فاطمة بنت عبد الله البريكية، معلمة لغة إنجليزية. أستاذة فاطمة أهلا بك معنا.
أهلا وسهلا.
أيضا الأستاذ محمد بن عامر الهنائي، معلم لغة إنجليزية. أستاذ محمد أهلا بك معنا.
أهلا وسهلا.
طبعا مثل ما عارفين احنا أن مادة اللغة الإنجليزية فيها A، يعني طلبة يدرسوا ال A والطلبة يدرسوا ال B. راح نستقبل أسئلتكم بعد أن نستعرض الورقة الامتحانية للجزئين، اللي هو الجزء A بالنسبة لمادة اللغة الإنجليزية، والجزء B. بعد ذلك راح نستقبل أسئلتكم سواء عبر الإيميل أو عبر صفحتنا على الفيسبوك أو عبر التويتر. طبعا كل طالب يجب أن يكتب ويذكر إذا كان A or B، لأنه الأستاذة فاطمة راح ترد على الأسئلة المتعلقة بطلبة الA، والأستاذ محمد راح يرد على الأسئلة المتعلقة بطلبة الB. لغة التخاطب مع المدرسين مع الأستاذة فاطمة والأستاذ محمد راح تكون باللغة الإنجليزية، كون احنا نتحدث عن مادة لغة إنجليزية. أستاذة فاطمة الآن راح تستعرض الورقتين الامتحانيتين، وراح نبدأ بالورقة الامتحانية الخاصة بامتحان مادة اللغة الإنجليزية A. تفضل أستاذة فاطمة.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to display for you the English paper of English A, the basic. As you can see here, this is the first page that you are going to have, where you have the general marks and the different questions. Now let's move to the first question of the examination, which is going to be the listening. So if we just look at the listening, let's look at listening number 1. Listening number 1 has 7 marks. It's very important that you read the rubric of the question very carefully, as we have it, for example, here. If we just look at this one, you are going to hear a conversation between, then they are going to give you here, for example, between a mother and, for example, son or father and daughter, husband and wife, whatever you are going to have, teacher and student. Listen and shade in the bubble next to the correct option. So here, it's very important that you read each question before the teacher comes with the tape recorder. Yes, you are going to have time for reading while the teacher is coming with the tape recorder, but I advise you to read all the questions earlier, and also you have to read them carefully. So here we are going to have the questions as we have them from 1 to 5. Be careful here when you read the question. Look at the WH question that you have here. See what does each question want from you, so that when you listen to the tape recorder, you are listening for a purpose, to find a certain answer for certain question. Now let's move to listening number 2. If we look at listening number 2, listening number 2 has 8 marks, and it has also 2 parts. Part number 1, let's look here. You are going to hear someone, for example, talking about a certain topic. Listen, and for each item write a short answer. And when you look here at the short answer, it says not more than 4 words. So don't write like a long answer. Make sure that the answer you write is not more than 4 words. If we just look here at the question, for this type of question, they are going to give you WH words, and they want you to give answer for a specific thing. For example, if they give you the word who, it means that they are asking about a person. Now the word who here, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to write a name of a person like Ahmed, Ali, and so on. Sometimes you write, for example, a doctor, a teacher, archaeologist. What do they want from you? So here the word who, whether it demands you to write a certain name for a person like Ahmed, Ali, Maryam, Fatma, or they want you to write, for example, certain word that refers to who, like the doctor, the teacher, the nurse, the sister, the brother, the mother, whatever here. And maybe you will also have the word why. If you have the word why, it means that you are going to write a reason when you write here, because of, then you have to write the answer. Sometimes they ask you how many. How many here, they ask you about a number. And this is for countable. Sometimes they give you, for example, how much, and here again you have to be careful with this. Another thing is that they give you the word where. If you look at the word where, it asks you about a place, but the place here, it could be like a proper name of a place, like, for example, you can write the hospital, the school, the park, the mall, or you can write, for example, another word like, for example, India, America, Sultanate of Oman, Egypt, Syria. So here the word where demands many answers you can write, and all of them, they are referred to a place. If they give you the word when, the word when means they are asking here about time. And if we look at the time, it could be part of the day, like, for example, in the evening, in the afternoon, in the morning, or, for example, at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, or sometimes a year like 1990, 2000, 2001. So be careful for the information, and read the questions carefully, because this will save your time and also is going to give you the answer they want from you. If we look at part number 2, again, it's going to have multiple choice, and with multiple choice, read all the questions carefully, and when you listen for a purpose, as I'm advising you. Don't just listen randomly. If we look at the mark for the listening, you are going to have 15 marks for the listening, and they are 15 questions. It means that each question has 1 mark. If you lose a question, you immediately use 1 mark in the listening questions. Now let's move to the second part, which is going to be the vocabulary. If we look at the vocabulary, you are going to have 2 vocabulary questions. The first one from 1 to 5 items. They are going to give you a box, and in the box they are going to give you a text, and you have to complete the text with words. Where are you going to find the words? You will find the words under the text as multiple choice. So you have to shade in the bubble for the appropriate question, choose the appropriate answer. As you look here at the mark for vocabulary number 1, you are going to have 2.5 mark. It means each question has half mark. Now let's move to vocabulary number 2. And vocabulary number 2, this is the question where they ask you to spell out the words. It means that they are going to give you the first letters of the words, like the first 2 letters, the first 3 letters, and then you have to complete the word with the appropriate letters. Now, spelling here is very important. If you spell the word correctly, it means you are going to get the whole mark. If you add a letter or if you delete a letter from the word, the answer will be wrong. So here the spelling is very important. They are going to ask you here for 5 words. Read the description carefully and try to find out what part of speech they want from you. This is going to help you also to get the answer correctly. Now, the total marks for the vocabulary, 5 marks only, as you can see here. Now let's move to grammar. Grammar number 1, you are going to have like questions, and for each item shade in the bubble next to the correct option. Again, this one here is multiple choice question. Grammar number 2, complete the text, fill each gap with 1 word only. Now for grammar number 2, they are not going to give you words where you have to for example, to complete with letters and so on, and no multiple choice. Here you have to read the question that you have here carefully to guess which word you should write here. So here nothing is provided for you except for clues. You are going to find them as, for example, a question or as sentences or as phrases, and you have to guess which word is here. For the grammar question, it has 5 marks. Now let's move to the reading. With the reading number 1 has 10 marks. If we just look at the reading, you are going to have a long text, and under the text you have question. Now with reading a question, I'm advising here you don't read the reading text then go to the question. Do the opposite. Read the question, then go to the text and try to find the answer. For example, they might give you here a question, and when you read the question, read the options that they give you, like 1, 2, 3, how many options they are giving you, 3 options. Then go immediately to the text and try to find out what is the answer from the text. So if you spend the time reading the text at the beginning, you will lose time and you will not finish, and you will not even get the answer, because reading a question for comprehension question, immediately read the question, go to the text. It means here you are reading for a purpose. Now let's move to, as you can see here, you have got here multiple choice for 10 questions. So you are going to have 10 question multiple choice for reading 1. If we just look at reading number 2, it has 15 marks. And if we just look at the reading here, you are going to have a long text, then you are going to have question. Now the type of the questions are going to be 2 types. Part number 1 or task 1, they are going to give you WH words as I explained for the listening, like where, when, how many, how much, why, and you have to go to the reading text and find the answer. Be careful, don't write more than 4 words. Don't write a full paragraph or a full sentence, because the teacher who is going to mark your answer is only going to read the first 4 words. So if the answer within these 4 words, they are going to read them. If you write, for example, 2 lines and the answer at the end of line number 2 or line number 3, this doesn't mean that you get the answer correct. You are not going to get the answer correct, and they are not going to give you a mark here. So be careful. Don't make the teachers in the marking center suffer while they are writing your answers. Write them carefully and clearly so that they can get the answers correctly. Now, if we just look here at the second part, which is going to be task number 2. For each item, shade in the bubble next to the correct option. So again, here you have multiple choice. Reading number 1 has 10 marks. Reading number 2 has 15 marks. The total marks for the reading is 25 marks. So this means that the reading question has big amount of marks within the final examination, and I hope that every student has had enough practice before the examination. Now let's go to the writing. Writing number 1 is going to be informative, where they give you a question and you have to provide information about it. They are going to give you a question like, for example, write at least 100 words on the following topic. So they are going to give you a topic and you have to write about it. Now, when you write here, make sure that you have introduction, that you have body, and also you have conclusion about the topic. What are they going to ask you? For example, write about tourism in Oman, or write about schools in Oman, or write about Eid al-Adha or Eid al-Fitr, about Ramadan, about the weather, about anything. And you have to give information about this topic that they are giving you. Now, let's move to writing number 2. In writing number 2, you are going to have like email or letter, like we have here. Complete the following task, write at least 100 words. They will give you a situation, and at the end they are going to give you write a letter or email about it. Your writing should be interesting and well organized. Make sure that when you write the email or the letter, you are writing the different parts of the email or the letter within your answer, starting from the word dear, ending with the word yours or best wishes, whatever. They are going to give you names here in the situation, so don't write your original or real name. It is not important. Write the name they are giving you. For example, they are going to give you, imagine that you are Nasr or Nasra, so this is your name, Nasr or Nasra. Nasr for the boys' school, Nasra for the girls' school. Then they will give you the situation, and your friend is, for example, Ahmed or for example Amal. So you are going, Nasra will write for Amal, Nasr will write for Ahmed. So use the names that you have here in the question paper. That's about the last question in English number A. So the writing question, writing 1 has 10 marks, writing 2 has 10 marks. The total mark for the writing will be 20 marks of the final examination for English A. Now we will move to the second paper, which is English B. Again, with English B, as you can see here, this is the first or the cover page of the examination. Then you are going to move to the listening. For English B, let's see how many listening questions do we have. We have listening number 1, and it has from 1 item to 6 items. You are going to hear a conversation between, listen and shade in the bubble next to the correct option. So here you are going to listen and you are going to put a circle on the correct answer that you have here. Read the questions before the teacher comes, because this will give you enough time to understand the question and even to go for them, so that you seize the opportunity when the teacher comes with the tape recorder, is that from the first time you are going to write the answer. Don't wait for the second time or the last time. Now let's move to listening number 2. You are going to have here questions like from 7 to 11. You are going to hear a conversation, for example, about cloning, about whatever topic. Listen, and for each item, write short answer, not more than 5 words or 4 words. So again here, like English A, don't write more than 4 words. Be careful for the WH question they are giving you here, as I explained earlier. Now, let's move to the third question in the listening. You are going to have here listening number 3. You are going to hear 4 people speaking. Who are they? So here, let's listen carefully or read carefully this question, because it is very important. Whether they are asking you, who are they, or who are they talking to? So who are they? It means the speakers themselves. Who are they talking to? From the description, to whom they are talking? To a student, to a nurse, to a teacher, pilot, to what? Or for example, they are going to ask you, where are they? So here you are going to listen for description about places. Or for example, they are going to ask you, which countries are these? So when you listen here, listen carefully so that you can get the answer correctly. It's very important that you understand the rubric of the question, because the rubric of the question, on the rubric of the question, you will be able to get the answer. Then we'll give you here a box, and in the box they are going to give you words. What are you going to write is to order them, which comes as number 1. So the speaker, they are going to be 4 speakers you will have. Speaker number 1, for example, is a teacher. Speaker number 2 is a pilot. Speaker number 3 is a doctor. Speaker number 4 is a farmer. So here you have to listen carefully to them. The total mark for the listening is 15 marks. Now let's move to vocabulary number 1. Again, as English A, you are going to have a box, and then under the box you are going to have words. You are going to read this carefully to get or to find out the answer that matches with the text that you have here. Now let's move to vocabulary number 2. They are going to give you the first letters, 2 letters or 3 letters. You have to complete the word with the appropriate letters. The total mark for vocabulary is 5 marks. Vocabulary 1 has 2.5. Vocabulary number 2 has 2.5 marks. Now let's move to grammar. If we look at grammar, grammar number 1, again, it's going to be multiple choice. They are going to give you a question, and you have to choose the correct answer for each one. Read the question carefully because this is going to help you to get the answer, because you have multiple choice. It means each question is going to have a keyword or a clue that tells you which word to choose from the 4 options. If we just look at grammar number 2, again, it's the same as English A. You are going to have like a text, and you have to fill in the gap with each word. Only write 1 word for each gap. Don't write more than 1 word, because if you write more than 1 word, means both of them will be wrong. Make sure that you only write 1 word. How are you going to get the word? From the question itself. Read before the gap and after the gap. What are the words that you have? This will let you, or will give you time to know which answer is needed here. Now let's move to reading number 1. If we look at reading number 1, you are going to have like this one. Match the 7 text on the left with this text in the box. Shade in the bubble under the correct option. So you are going to have text on the right, text on the left. You have to match them together. You are not going to draw lines, because you have here, if you just look under them, where you have to choose for each letter what is the for each number what is the answer needed. Now let's move to reading number 2. Reading number 2 has 6 marks. You are going to have read the text, then for each item shade in the bubble next to the correct option. It means text with multiple choice answers. Reading number 2 will be continuing. Text again with multiple choice answers. Sometimes they give you here a letter and here the reply of the letter. Sometimes they give you here a text and then another text related to it, or has a relationship with it. Now let's move to reading number 3. You are going to have a text, and under the text they are going to give you questions. So this is with reading number 3. Task 1, for each item write a short answer, not more than 4 words. Again, don't write a whole text here, and be careful with the WH word that you have. For the second task, they are going to give you like multiple choice. The total mark of the reading examination is 25 marks of the final examination. Now let's move to writing number 1. Write a paragraph about, then they will give you the topic, called dash. Use all the information in the box. So here, writing number 1 will be box of information, and you have to write a paragraph about it. Very important, it's very important to write the information above the box, because write a paragraph about, for example, a country. It means the subject you are going to use for the country. The first you will write the name of the country, then you will write the subject it. Sometimes they give you, for example, write a paragraph about a book. So book, again, you are going to write the subject it. Or for example, they give you write about a tribe, it. Write about a family. For the family, you can use it and they. Both of them are acceptable. Sometimes they write about a man, so you are going to write he. write about a woman. You are going to write she. So it is very important that you write, that you read the rubric question above the box of the information before you go to the box itself. Now let's move to writing number 2. Complete the following task. Write at least 75 words. They will give you a situation and then you have to complete it following the information that you have here in the situation. Your writing should be interesting and well organized. Now let's move to writing number 3. Complete the following task. Write at least 100 words. Situation. They are asking here you to write a letter or email. So it's again like English A. You have to be careful. Start your letter with the word dear. End your letter with the word best wishes or yours, whatever, according to the type of the letter or email they are giving you. Are they giving you formal letter or email or informal letter or email? Because here this depends on the information that they give you in the situation itself. So that's it about the English paper for English B and A. I hope that everyone listens carefully.
إن شاء الله. إذن هذا كان استعراض للورقة الامتحانية بالنسبة لمادة اللغة الإنجليزية اللي راح تختبروها يوم الغد إن شاء الله، سواء بالنسبة للطلبة اللي يدرسوا اللغة الإنجليزية A ولا الطلبة اللي يدرسوا اللغة الإنجليزية B. الشرح كان واضح وأيضا مفصل بالنسبة للأسئلة، طبيعتها، توزيع الدرجات أيضا في الامتحانين. الآن يسعدنا أن نتلقى أسئلتكم واستفساراتكم فيما يتعلق بالمادة. ومثل ما ذكرت ونوهت في البداية، الحوار مع الأستاذة فاطمة والأستاذ محمد يكون باللغة الإنجليزية. نكون حريصين جدا على هالشيء لأنه في الآخر إحنا نقدم حلقة خاصة بلغة اللي هي اللغة الإنجليزية، وبالتالي يجب أن نطبق اللغة داخل هذه الحلقة. نبدأ في تلقي أول المكالمات. ناخذ اتصال. السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
يا مرحبا وسهلا، من معنا؟
شيخة العيساء من البريمي.
شيخة شو أخبارك؟ كيف أمورك؟ تمام؟
الحمد لله. I'm fine. What about you?
الحمد لله تمام. شيخة A or B؟
A.
A. إذا أستاذة فاطمة معك والآن يعني خلينا نشوف اللغة الإنجليزية. تمام؟
Okay.
Hi Sheikha, how are you?
I am fine.
How are the exams so far?
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Are you ready for the English examination?
Inshallah.
Inshallah. So what's your question, Sheikha?
How can differences between formal letter and informal letter?
Okay. I will answer you. You have to follow me on the screen, please.
Okay.
Do you have any question?
Not only this.
Okay, thank you very much.
تمام شيخة، شكرا لك وتابعينا. طيب شكرا.
Now
تفضل أستاذة.
regarding the formal letter and the informal letter, first of all, you are going to have information in the question paper that tells you that this is formal or informal from the text or the situation they give you. Because as I showed you in the English, in the examination paper, they are going to give you before they tell you write a letter or write email, they will give you a situation. So in the situation, you are going to have information that tells you this is formal or informal. For example, if they tell you write to a friend, so this is informal. Write to your mother, this is informal. Write to your sister, this is informal. Okay, because here you are writing to people who are close to you. For example, they give you another situation like you have or you bought like a handbag from a company via the internet or online. When you receive the handbag, you found out that the handbag is not like the color you order, or not the size you order, and not the shape you order. Write a complaint letter to the company, tells them that this is not the handbag, and you can ask them to change it, or you can ask them, for example, to refund, to give you the money back for you. So the situation itself still tells you that this is formal or this is informal. If they tell you write a letter to your boss, in the company, or to, for example, the boss in the work. So this is again formal letter. Write, for example, to your friend. This is informal. The language you use here for the formal letter and informal letter is different. If you are writing, for example, informal letter, it means you are writing to a friend. You will start your letter with the word dear. Then they are going to give you the name, like, for example, dear Amal. Then you have to write here like introductory statements or phrases, like, for example, hi Amal, how are you? Are you fine? Is your mom okay? Is your family okay? So here you are using friendly language with your friend. Okay? Then you will write, for example, I am writing, for example, to ask you about. Then you will write here the topic they are giving you in the exam paper. Then in the body, you will write here like 3 or 2 paragraphs related to the topic they are giving you, for example, in the exam paper, and you will end up your letter like you will write, that's all. I hope to hear from you soon. You can write, send my regards to your family. Then you will write here, yours, Nasra, if they are giving you this name in the exam. Okay? Then you will sign, actually. Now, this is about the informal letter. But don't put these lines in the examination tomorrow. Write here information related to the body of the topic they are giving you. Okay, so I'm putting here just line to save the time of the episode. So what are you going to write here? I'm writing to ask you about, for example, they tell you, write to your friend Amal in, for example, UAE or in Kuwait, asking her about the National Day in Kuwait, for example. So I'm going here to give her some information about, for example, National Day in Oman. Then you will ask her about National Day in Kuwait, how it is, what are the things they do there, the activities, the clothes they wear, the food, and so on. Then when you end your letter, you will write, that's all, I hope to hear from you soon. Send my regards to your family, yours, Nasra. If you are writing a letter to your boss or to your teacher, whatever, you are not going to follow the same here language. You are not going to tell, for example, your boss, hi, how are you? Send my regards to your family, because this is not, you don't have here informal relationship with the boss. You have a more formal relationship. It means the language you use should also be formal. What are you going to write? For example, dear, what do you have here? For example, head of Omani company. So this is one. You are going to write the proper name they are giving you. You are not going to say, hi, how are you? I hope you are fine. How is your family? You are going immediately to start your letter like, I am writing to, then you will write here the topic. Why are you writing? I am writing to complain about the product I got from your company, or I am writing to you to ask you about a job if it is available in your company. Then you will write here the information related to the topic. When you end the letter, it's again the same. You are going to say that's all. I hope, okay, to hear from you soon. Then you will write here best wishes. For example, Nasra. So the language you use for the informal letter is different from the language you use for the in the informal is different from the formal letter. And how could you know, as Sheikha asked me in the phone, you are going to get to know from the situation. Because if we just look at the at the exam paper, if you just look at it, see here, writing number 2, complete the following task, write at least 100 words, then they give you here situation. It says situation. Situation that they give you here will let you know, read it carefully, because in the situation you will be able to know, is this letter formal or informal? Is it sent to somebody close to me, I have informal relationship with, or to a person whom I have formal relationship with. So this will let you know what type of language you are using, and again, what type of thing you are going to write in the letter. That's all about the formal and informal letter.
شكرا أستاذة فاطمة، وإن شاء الله شيخة أيضا تكون متابعتنا وتعرفت على أيضا طريقة الكتابة والفرق أيضا بين النموذجين. ناخذ اتصال. السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
يا مرحبا وسهلا، من معنا؟
منال الشبيبية من ولاية المضيبي.
حياك يا منال، شو أخبارك؟
الحمد لله.
منال A or B؟
منار.
منار A or B؟
English B.
English B. تفضلي، وسؤالك عند الأستاذ محمد. تفضل أستاذ محمد.
Yes, منار.
Okay. Hi teacher.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah. What's your question?
Okay, I actually brought the most asked questions in my B class and from my classmates. So the first one is in the listening. So sometimes in the listening, the answer is a name of a country or a name of a river, something like that. And the spelling is just so confusing. So we're just wondering if the spelling is like considered in those questions. And the second question is like in the only 4-word answer questions, sometimes you have to add a certain preposition to make the sentence right. So is that preposition considered as a fixed word?
Okay. For regarding the first question, actually you asked about it's about the spelling, in listening. Actually, look, in my point of view and according to the specification brought in the exam, spelling is very important. But if it is the spelling of a name of a country, for example, and it is very difficult if you write the most distinctive letters, and actually the most important features of the word itself is very clear, I think there is no problem at all, okay? And if it is, even if it is, for example, a name of a person, for example, it is the same case. If you just, mention the most important features of the name and the name clear, I think the answer is right. Okay?
Okay.
Regarding the question number 2, actually, about listening. Student actually in grade 12, in the final exam, they are asked to follow the instructions given, in the exam. And if the examiner, for example, tells you that you should not, for example, exceed the limits, for example, the answer should be 4 words, you should stick to that type of, for example, answer. But if you add a certain preposition, you feel that it is very important, I don't think they are going to consider your answer is wrong, for example, we are not doing IELTS. We are treating, for example, students in grade 12. And so we don't put a lot of great expectations out of them. But if you add, for example, a proposition, I don't think your answer will be considered, wrong. But make sure that you have to keep your answer shortest as possible. Okay?
Thank you very much.
تمام منار؟
الحمد لله.
يلا بالتوفيق إن شاء الله، بالتوفيق. أيضا في طلبة يسألوا عبر صفحة الفيسبوك بالنسبة للاختبار التجريبي لهالفصل، أعتقد أنه ما فيه.
According mock exam, there is mock exam, for example, reach to our schools, for example, so as far as I know, for example, there is no, and I think the same case with Ms. Fatma, if you have more information about this idea.
We haven't received any mock exam this year for English.
Yeah. So
for other subjects, yes, but for English, no.
If the student wants to practice anything,
it is in Zawiyati. It is the same as we have. I think that they didn't do like mock exam because the specification is the same like the same one for 2013 and 14. It's the same specification they are going to have this year. Nothing has been changed in the specification. The type of the questions are the same. They haven't changed the type of the question, which is good. And they are going to find out different and plenty of questions in Zawiyati for previous years. They can go there, download them, and they can practice them. They can practice all the questions, including the listening. Also, they will have audio script for the listening. They can download it. They can listen to it and practice answering the listening questions.
Okay, that's good, because of one of the students asked about the listening questions and how can he practice that. He can find it in Zawiyati.
And in Zawiyati they will find the questions, and even they will find the answers, the model answer. So try to answer the questions yourself at the beginning, then go to the model answer and check how many marks have you got from this. Sorry for this. Check the answers for yourself, I mean. But
and on the same times he practiced the listening.
Yes, practice the listening. Like for example, download the audio listening, download the exam paper, listen and write the answers on another paper. Then when you finish answering the listening question, go to the model answer and check, are your answers correct or wrong, and how many of them you got correct, how many of them you got wrong. This even will Zawiyati is very important for students, because they give you the question and they give you the model answer. You don't need a teacher at home. You will have the answer.
And it is important for all of the students. I advise them to do it.
Yes.
Because most of them, they are facing problem with the hearing.
Yes, with hearing. And even some students, unfortunately, they don't have the talent or the skill of how to write the model answer. Model answer means the answer the Ministry of Education wants from you when you write. So if you practice answering a lot of questions in Zawiyati, you will be able to write even a model answer, not just like any answer that come to your mind. So I advise you to do it. You have from now till the night.
And this is one of the solution for the students that who said how we are studying English.
Yes, English. It is very important. Unfortunately, sometimes I hear students saying, when I walking in the school by the corridor or something, I hear students saying to each other, great, tomorrow we have English exam, it means we are not going to study. And this is very wrong idea about English subject, because we as teachers, when we were students just like you, we were studying for the English examination just the same like any other subject. And we even feel that English is very interesting and it's fun. Why? Because you are learning a language by the end. It's not just studying for the exam. You are developing your skills, different skills like reading, writing, and so on, vocabulary. This will help you for the university. Some students say, teacher, we study the word in the book, and they just give us in the exam 3 words. We feel sad. Or why did we study? If it is not for today, it's for tomorrow. It's for the university. It's for the college.
It's for yourself.
For yourself, yes, to learn a new thing.
ناخذ سؤال أيضا من الفيسبوك من مالك النيري انجلش بي. أستاذ محمد، أريد توضيح قاعدة في الكتاب صفحة 68.
Page
68.
68. Okay. Yes, yes, Malik. Regarding this one, this type of a grammar, actually, it speaks about past continuous. And we know the form actually of past continuous. We got past simple, and we got also past continuous, and we got also at the same time, this is one past perfect. So you are asking about past continuous. Actually, past continuous, that means, for example, an action which is happening in the past, but it is in progress. For example, it's given, there is an example, for example, inside the book itself. It is 8 o'clock. For example, Ahmed is watching TV. At that time, for example, at 8 o'clock, the action is, for example, in progress. So this is present, actually present continuous. So now let us change, for example, is to was, because we know the structure actually of past continuous is verb to be plus the verb plus ing. And verb to be in the past continuous, actually we have two forms. We have the form for was and were. Was can be used, for example, for I and he and she and it and Ahmed. That means for singular. And where we can use it for plural forms. Okay, plural, for example, nouns or pronouns, like for example, students, or we, or they, or you. We can use, for example, where. So actually, past continuous in this case, at 5 o'clock, he wasn't watching TV, he was playing football. So at certain time in the past, for example, an action in progress. So at that time, so in this case, you have to use what? You have to use past continuous. This is the explanation.
ناخذ اتصال. عندنا الزهراء. الزهراء السلام عليكم. الزهراء.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام، شو اخبارك زهراء؟
الحمد لله.
كيف صحتك؟ تمام. من وين زهراء تكلمينا؟
ولاية المضيبي.
من المضيبي والنعم. اي صح؟
ايوه. اي صح.
تفضل استاذة فاطمة معك.
Yes, Zahra.
I'm fine.
Yes, what's your question?
Actually, I want to ask about the listening to. If they check the spelling of the answers.
Yes.
They look to the spelling of the answers that we write.
You mean the spelling of listening number 2?
Yes.
When you write like not more than 4 words?
No, I mean the spelling of the words.
Yes, I know the spelling of the words. You have, see here, Zahra, to an extent you have to spell the words correctly. To be on the safe side. Why? Because it depends on the model answer we get from the ministry in the marking center. Sometimes they said, sometimes it's written if the word itself can be read correctly, I mean if the teacher can read the word, you have to consider it correct. Despite that, some students have, for example, deleted a letter or added a letter to the word. If the original word you write is correctly and clearly, it should be correct. Sometimes what they say a student in grade 12 have to spell the word correctly, because the words they are asking you are not complicated words. Like for example, they ask you about a year. You can write in 2000. So you have to write this number correctly. For example, they ask you about a country like America. Look here at the board and see how students write the word America. Some students, they write the words America like this, okay? Which is the correct word. Some students, they write the word America with K. Okay? So in this case here, we know that the spelling of this word here is wrong, right?
Yes, right.
But sometimes from the specification we get in the marking center, sometimes they said, consider it correct, because you can read it as America. So the students here mean America. Sometimes they say, make it wrong, because a student in grade 12 have to spell the word America correctly, because a student in grade 5 knows how to write the word America. So what about a student in grade 12? So as Zahra, I advise you, try your best and try to get the word spelled correctly to be on the safe side. Okay?
Okay, I will inshallah.
Okay, thank you.
إن شاء الله. شكرا لك زهراء. ناخذ أميمة. أميمة السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام.
كيف حالك؟
الحمد لله طيبة.
من وين أميمة؟
من باطن شمال.
حياكي. انجلش اي صح؟
ايوه اي.
استاذة فاطمة بعد معك، وتفضلي أميمة.
Hello teacher.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. What about you?
Alhamdulillah, fine. Are you ready for the exam tomorrow?
Yeah, inshallah, I'm ready.
How was your mark in semester 1?
Yeah, it's good actually.
Okay, great. So what's your question?
Yes, teacher, my question is, I want to know the difference between stative and dynamic.
Stative and dynamic verbs. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
شكرا أميمة. تفضلي.
Just you have to follow me. If we just look here at the book where the rule is introduced. stative and dynamic verbs. It's in page 37 in the course book. And
Okay.
in the workbook, have you seen it in the workbook?
Wait, teacher, just a minute.
In the workbook, it is in the grammar reference. If you just look, you will find it in page 107.
107, okay.
Have you seen it before?
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. So when you study dynamic and stative verbs, look at these two pages together. This will help you to understand it. Now, what do you mean by stative verbs and dynamic verbs? Can you give me example of dynamic verb?
Dynamic, yeah, like eat, go, sleep, run, play. Something is activity.
Yes, and they come sometimes where? What is the tense they come in? Dynamic verbs. Sometimes they come as simple, sometimes they come as what? Continuous.
Ah, yeah, okay.
Yes, so this is the first difference between stative and dynamic verbs. If we look
And
at
stative, we cannot say that it's coming continuous.
see here, the first thing, Umayma, is that you have to know that stative verbs, they describe state of mind or position, as you have it here on page 107, not an action. They don't describe an action. They describe a state of something, state of mind, state of position, and they are called stative. That's why. And they are not usually, so usually they don't come like progressive. They don't come like continuous. Like, for example, you can say, I want to sleep. You don't say, I'm wanting to sleep. You say what? I want to sleep. So the word want here comes like stative verb, not like dynamic. The verb, and then here they give you a list. The following is a list of stative verbs that are not usually used in progressive. So look at these verbs, try to memorize them, try to have an idea about them. These verbs, they don't come in progressive, they come in stative. It means they describe state of something, of mind, of feeling, whatever. If we just look here at dynamic verbs are verbs that can be used both in simple tense and in continuous tense. They describe activities which continue for a limited period of time. Like, for example, you can say, they are living in Hong Kong. So here we use the word live, like dynamic. To make it easier for you, dynamic verbs explain actions. Okay? There is an action in them. Stative verbs, they describe state of something. And you know the word state, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they describe state of mind, they describe state of position. That's why usually you don't find them progressive. Because some verbs, if they come in progressive, they give you another meaning. Like, for example, if you say, for example, they feel that it is not necessary. So here we have feel. And if I say they are feeling tired, so the word here, feel and feeling, the context they come in, they are different, they are not the same. So dynamic verbs explain actions, stative verbs, they explain state for you. Okay?
Thank you.
So they are related to continuous and they are related to present simple. Go to page 107, read these verbs. It is very important to read this particular paper or page because it has example of verbs that come only in stative and they are not progressive. Usually they don't come like progressive, and read under it like number 1 and number 2, because number 2 says many verbs can be used both stative and dynamic. So some verbs they come in only dynamic, some verbs they come only stative, some verbs they come like dynamic and stative, like here we have come from, feel, have, look like, look, see and think. They can come both in dynamic and stative.
Okay, teacher, thanks a lot.
شكرا لك.
Thank you very much.
شكرا أميمة، موفقة إن شاء الله. ناخذ أيضا مجموعة أسئلة عبر الفيسبوك. هنا أيضا في طالبة تستفسر بالنسبة الليسننج وين ممكن تجده. احنا ذكرنا قبل شوي انه ممكن في زاويتي ممكن تعملوا تطبيق على اسئله الليسننج حتى تنزلوا الماده، يعني الماده موجوده هناك، ممكن تنزلوا الماده اللي هي ماده الاستماع، وبعد كده موجوده الاسئله. ايضا بامكانكم انكم ايضا تسمعوا الماده وتحلوا الاسئله الموجوده عليها. هاجر العبري، ردي وابعثي سؤالك لكن باللغة الإنجليزية، خاصة الكلمات اللي هي أصلها لغة إنجليزية وأنت كاتبتنها بالعربي، يعني فأتمنى أنك تكتبيها باللغة الإنجليزية عشان أتأكد أنه صح فعلا هي هذه أو لا. أيضا عندنا سؤال هاي how we can write free writing in English B.
Okay, regarding question, this is a question, I think, question 2. Okay, students are actually asked in this question to write free writing. For example, let us take the example of 2012 and 2013. Okay, the exam. Your school magazine is organizing an English writing competitions. They are the instructions. Okay, the students actually are given some instruction inside the box itself, and the students are asked to read the instructions carefully. Okay. Imagine that your mother's birthday is coming soon. Think of a present that she would really like. Describe the present and say why you have chosen it. In this question, actually, students are asked to write a text. In a text in this type, it might be a paragraph, and some students, for example, like to divide this type of text, for example, to different paragraphs. At every single paragraph, for example, students perhaps will ask to, for example, to speak about a single idea. For example, in the introduction, for example, students are asked to just give a briefing of the question itself. And after that, for example, in the main body paragraph, for example, students will ask, for example, to speak about the present itself. And why does, for example, he or she choose that type of, for example, present. And in, for example, paragraph number 3, for example, students are asked, for example, to say, for example, to give, to speak about the function itself, and to speak about different types, for example, of example itself and organization to this question. And most importantly, for example, this question, students are asked to use different types of ordering words, for example, linking words, either, for example, coordinating conjunction or subordinating conjunction. And students, for example, also are asked to use the transitional signals to move very smoothly from one paragraph to another paragraph, and just to use the, we can call them, for example, to end the paragraph, for example, in brief or in conclusion, whatever it is the case itself. And this is we call it free writing. So the writing in this case is not controlled. It's just, the only thing which make it controlled is the limit of the words, 75 words itself. And make sure it deals with the subject straightforward. It should not be irrelevant. For example, the free writing asks you to write, for example, about a topic. You just certainly go and to another topic which is completely not related to the topic itself mentioned inside the examination paper. This is the answer for this question itself.
يزن المعمري يقول السلام عليكم، عندي سؤالين بالنسبة للرايتنج في انجلش A. احنا وضحنا هذا شيء يزن، وضحناه في بداية الحلقة لما استعرضنا الورقة الامتحانية. أستاذة فاطمة استعرضت أسئلة الرايتنج في الانجلش A واعتقد انها كانت واضحة. هل مطالبين بحفظ شيء معين لهم؟ السؤال الثاني، الرايتنج راح يجي من مواضيع الكتاب ولا شو بالضبط؟
The topics of the writing that you are going to get in the final examination, sometimes you get relevant topics to the topics you have in the theme in the book. Sometimes they give you like controversial topics or topics which is in the society, things that are happening nowadays. Expect, for example, that they ask you about different ways of communication nowadays. We have Twitter, we have Facebook, Instagram. Maybe they will ask you about these things since that people are using them a lot, or about WhatsApp, about anything, about topics that we have here in the society and also in the community. Sometimes they give you topics similar to the topics, not the same, but similar to the topics we have in the books, because Your box is rich. It has 5 themes. Expect a topic related to one of the theme. Sometimes they give you, for example, a topic about something you studied in semester number 1, like a similar topic you have already met in semester number 1, as it happens before in other previous years. So be ready for the topic itself. Don't panic in the exam when you see a topic. Don't say that after the exam we have got something which is not from the book, we have got something which is far away from the book. No, everything, be sure, put this in your mind, everything you will have in the examination tomorrow is for your level. You are not going to have something which is above your level. Just study your book, refresh your mind, and inshallah you will get all the answers correctly.
إن شاء الله. ونرجع للاتصالات. عندنا ميثا السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام.
ميساء صح؟
أيوة.
ميساء صححوا لي هم الحين. من وين ميساء؟
من الباطنة.
من الباطنة. اي صح؟
Yes.
الأستاذة فاطمة معك، تفضلي ميساء.
Yes, Maysa. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Hi, are you
Fine.
ready?
What about you?
Alhamdulillah, fine. Are you ready for the examination tomorrow?
Yes.
Have you studied very well? Yes?
Yes.
Did you practice questions at home, or just the things the teacher gave you in the school? Hi, Maysa, where have you gone? What's your question, Maysa?
ميساء.
She left.
Yeah, don't ask her more than one question. ناخذ قيس. عموما ميساء انا اتمنى انك تردي وتتصلي، وايضا ناخذ سؤالك. قيس السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
شو اخبارك يا قيس؟ كيف امورك؟ تمام؟
الحمد لله بخير. طيب.
من وين؟
من الخضراء بني دفاع، ولاية المضيبي.
والنعم. اي قيس صح؟
نعم.
تفضل الأستاذة فاطمة معك.
Hi, Qais, how are you?
الحمد لله.
Okay, what's your question? I'm afraid that you will leave also.
Okay, I don't understand all the grammar in the book. And my question to the exam, I am very well prepared for the incredible interview, so I feel that about the job.
قيس تسمعني قيس؟ ما واضح ابدا شيء من اللي تقوله، يعني يمكن اول شيء على اساس انه الارسال عندك ضعيف فواصلتنا الكلمات متقطعه. Miss Fatima, you get it?
I just got when he talk about the grammar only.
فمعلي تدخلنا مباشرة بالسؤال يعني قيس. تمام؟
Okay. The exam.
Okay.
The exam, because of his aliens, we all have to dash the meeting until next Monday. 1A, take away. B, look after. C, butt off. D, hang up. Say butt off, but why this vocab in this dash?
Vocabulary?
Yes.
You mean the word
butt off in this dash?
Okay,
because
put off.
of his aliens, we all have to butt off
Okay.
the meeting until next Monday. Butt
Okay.
off. Why is
Butt
this
off, which
vocab
means
in
delay.
this dash?
Look here, Qais. The word here, put off, is suitable for the context of the meaning. The meaning of, do you know what does the word put off mean?
Okay.
Put off means delay, to delay something. Okay, so you choose the word put. Do you have a dictionary at home? Qais, do you have a dictionary?
Yes.
Okay, go to the dictionary, open the dictionary, you will find the meaning of the word put off. I can't say it in Arabic, but in English it means to put off means to delay something, okay? Or to postpone something. Now, the word put off here is suitable for the dash because it is the most answer which is convenient to be put in that dash. I mean, it is suitable for the context of the sentence itself, for the meaning of the sentence. So in the vocabulary, when you put a word in the dash, you don't put a word which is far away from the meaning of the context. Try to put a word which is suitable for the context itself. So the meaning of the word put off makes the word appropriate to be put in that dash, not any other word. Okay, guys? Go to the dictionary, open your dictionary and look at the meaning of the word put off. I'm sure when you read the meaning, you will be able to find out why the word put off should be in that dash, not any other word, because the other words are, I mean, they don't match with the context of the sentence that you have. Okay?
Okay, thanks.
تمام
Thank you,
قيس،
قيس.
واضحة الأمور معك؟
Thank you.
إن شاء الله كذا بالتوفيق، وباكر أيضا تبدع كذا في امتحان الإنجليزي إن شاء الله. طبعا في معظم الطلبة أو كثير من الطلبة بكرة يعتبر الامتحان الأخير بالنسبة لهم، يعني هذا شيء جدا يعني مفرح بالنسبة لمجموعة من الطلبة. يعني في طلبة ما عندهم كيمياء، ما عندهم أحياء، يعني ما باقي لهم إلا امتحان اللغة الإنجليزية، وباكر أيضا راح يودعوا الثاني عشر يعني إن شاء الله. ناخذ أيضا إيميل من فراس العامري. فراس: كيف يمكننا نعرف كلمات الفوكابولاري التي تأتي من الكتاب الأحمر؟ هل التي تأتي في نهاية كل وحدة؟
Okay, regarding the words that you are going to have for the vocabulary question, they are going to be from the book. Not all of them. I will be frank with you. I will be more realistic with you. Some of the words you will find out in the final examination are going to be from the book. Other words, like few words, like one or two words, you might have some words that not are from the red book, as you call it, which is the course book, or the green book, the workbook. No. Sometimes you will have words that come from earlier stages, like for example a word that you have studied in grade 11, grade 10, grade 9, grade 8, grade 5, grade 6. Like for example, sometimes they give you easy word like the word advice. If I ask you a question, when did you meet the word advice first? You met this word earlier, maybe you met it in grade 10 or in grade 9 or in grade 7 or in grade 6. And again, it is also in grade 12, this word occurs, or we have it in the book. So when you study for the final examination, study all the words that you have in the book, because the questions are going to be from them. And also make sure that you have at least in your bucket, don't take words and papers in your bucket. I mean here in your mind, you have some words from earlier grades. This will help you for the final examination. Don't underestimate any word. You can get any word in the final examination. Expect any word to be in the final examination, but you are not going to have a word from the university level or the college level. For sure, 100%. The words you are going to find are words that are related to your book. And every time, whenever we have the final examination, we as teachers, we go to the vocabulary question and we check. We find out that out of 10 words, 9 words are from the book. 9 words are from the 5 themes you have studied. Only 1 word maybe will be outside the book. It means from grade 11 or 10 or 9 or 8 and so on. Okay, so that's it regarding the vocabulary question.
خلنا أيضا في سؤال عبر الإيميل محمود الزجالي. أيضا في ملاحظة ذكرها أحد الطلبة حول امتحان الخميس إذا كان بيصادف شهر رمضان المبارك. يعني هي من جزئين، أنه هل إذا بيصادف شهر رمضان المبارك يوم الخميس هل بيكون الامتحان الساعة 8 رغم أنه الدوام الرسمي بيكون الساعة 9 في يوم الخميس. أنا أعتقد أنه هو حسب الجدول المعدل اللي نازل يوم الخميس الامتحان عادي الساعة من 8 إلى 11 لكن إذا صادف رمضان يعني بس بنتأكد من هذه النقطة وبنأكد لكم إن شاء الله. يعني
In the
الطالب
school, I think that يعني all the schools they have the same day, right?
yeah.
Even before when we used to go to schools in Ramadan, the other ministries they work at 9 as
yeah.
you said, but
Yeah.
the schools no, the same time.
Okay.
But you
So
can
we will,
check more.
yeah, we will check and we will make sure also. أيضا إنه يكون امتحان في أول يوم رمضان، أنا أعتقد إنه فعلا مش صعبة راح تكون، بالعكس يعني راح تروحوا الامتحان كذا بروحانيات جميلة، وإن شاء الله راح تتسهل أموركم. يعني أنا أعتقد أنه هذه ميزة مضافة، يعني أنه إحنا نمتحن في أول يوم رمضان المبارك لو صادف يوم الخميس يوم رمضان يعني، وخاصة أنه إحنا ما يعني إذا عاد تعب ما بنكون لحقنا نتعب يعني زين، لأنه متسحرين تونا والساعة 8 رايحين الامتحان، الساعة 11 مخلصين يعني وين ما أعتقد، لأنه يعني ما بيكون ذاك التعب اللي ممكن أنه يأثر علينا يعني. وبالعكس أنا أعتقد أنه إن شاء الله لو كان أول يوم رمضان يوم الخميس ومع آخر امتحاناتكم إن شاء الله أيضا كذا أموركم راح تكون أكثر سهالة وأكثر يسر بإذن الله. ناخذ إسراء. إسراء السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام.
كيف حالك؟
الحمد لله.
من وين إسراء؟
معبيلة.
من معبيلة. إسراء تفضلي مع الأستاذة فاطمة.
السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام. How are you إسراء؟
الحمد لله. What about you؟
الحمد لله fine.
بس حبيت أسأل عن الفوكابلري والجرامر إذا بيكونوا
What about them إسراء؟
إذا بيكونوا من الكتاب من الفصل هذا بس، وإذا بيكونوا أيوة من الفصل هذا فالفوكابلري بيكون من التكست ولا بداية اليونت ونهايته الوورد يعني.
Okay, the vocabulary words that you are going to find in the final examination, they are going to be from the two books, from the course book and from the workbook. Okay, as I have just explained here, for the final examination you have got like 10 words in the vocabulary, 5 words like multiple choice and 5 other words you have to complete them with the spelling correctly. Okay, Isra? So the words that you are going to have for the final examination in the vocabulary, they are going to be 10. If we just talk about them in reality, maybe 9 or 8 words are going to be from the course book and the workbook. Like 1 or 2 words, you are going to have them like before. From the words you have studied them before, like you studied them in semester 1, you studied them last year, the year before, and so on. Just all of you don't complicate yourself with vocabulary. If you focus on something, just try to be calm down the exam and try to read the question carefully, and inshallah you will get all the answers correctly. Now regarding the grammar question, you are going to have grammar questions that are related to the grammar rules you have taken in theme number 1, theme 2, 3, 4, and 5 in the book, in the course book, and also in the workbook. And plus, you are going to have the basic rules of grammars, like for example, present simple, present continuous, past continuous, present perfect continuous, future, and also these are considered to be like basic rules of English language. It means you studied them in semester 1, you studied them before, and I'm sure that your teachers have given you enough practice on them. Plus the grammar rules, you are going to have them in the exam. They are going also to come from the book, like dynamic verbs, stated verbs, like reported speech, embedded question, infinitive, and other type of grammar, different grammar rules that you have in the book, in the English book itself. Okay, Isra?
Okay.
Isra, go to Zawiyati, download the vocabulary question, download the grammar question, and try to answer them yourself. Okay?
Inshallah.
And if you have papers, exam paper the teacher has given you, I'm sure that every teacher is doing his best with grade 12 student. Go and try to answer this question, because as more as you practice answering grammar question and vocabulary question, you will be able to answer them tomorrow in the final examination. Okay?
إن شاء الله.
إن شاء الله. All the best for you.
موفقة إن شاء الله.
شكرا.
شكرا لك إسراء. محمود زجالي أيضا رسالة عبر البريد الإلكتروني من مسقط، إنجليش بي، الكورس بوك صفحة 21 القاعدة، أرجو توضيحها.
Page 21, yes?
21.
Okay. There is nothing. It's about countable or uncountable, you mean? Or it is 22? Okay, I don't know if Mahmoud speak. There is nothing, in 21 about grammar, But if you are speaking about countable and uncountable nouns, actually, they are big topics, when we speak about countable nouns and uncountable nouns. Countable nouns, briefly, we can count them. Uncountable nouns, we cannot count them, There are some specific classifications for both these two categories, The first countable noun, we can count, for example, people, we can count them. For example, if we go directly to liquids, we cannot count liquids, for example, in like water, like honey, for example, milk, we cannot count them. And therefore, actually, we use them, we treat them as singular forms. We cannot, for example, say waters, because it's uncountable noun. Regarding also, there are some little bit certain, for example, nouns in English, like, for example, about materials, like furniture, for example, in copper, like, for example, and so on. These types of nouns, for example, we cannot count them. Therefore, we consider them to be uncountable nouns. And actually, this is the only thing about this, this piece of grammar about countable noun and countable noun. This is this.
ناخذ أيضا مجموعة أسئلة عبر صفحة الفيسبوك. عندنا هنا سؤال English B 68 I think we answered
68.
لا جاوبنا هذا السؤال. كيف يتم تصحيح الرايتنج؟ لأني فتحت الاختبار وحصلت الفصل الأول 5 و9. الرايتنج احنا تكلمنا عنه لما استعرضت الأستاذة فاطمة اللي هو أسئلة الرايتنج في ال A والبي، ووضحت الدرجات اللي على كل سؤال، يعني كل سؤال كم درجة له. أيضا أستاذ لو سمحت، رسالة طلب الوظيفة أو المقالة الإيس A تدخل في الامتحان اللي هو إنجليش A، ممكن يعني يجيهم.
Yes, they should expect this type of question because I think they have studied about the CV and the course book and also the workbook as how to write the CV, how to apply for a job. So you might get it like a formal letter. I told you before that the question of the email or the question of the letter expected to have like formal or informal. Now applying for a job, I gave you an example about it. Applying for a job is considered to be like a formal letter. So what are you going to read? Read the situation carefully you have in the final examination for the writing a question. In the situation, you will get enough information about what should you write about, because they are going to give you the whole scene of the writing a question and what should you write, and even sometimes they give you questions on which points, what are the points you should focus on when you write your writing. And expect it, why not? You may get it applying for a job. Yes.
إذا نرجع وناخذ سؤال مرتبط بنفس أيضا الجزئية اللي هي الرايتنج. Hi teachers, I am Noura Al-Ya'rubi from Nizwa. My question is, are you sure in writing will come email, letter and informative writing, not another like box with information?
For the informative, for English B, they have books of information plus free writing. It means they have to give information on certain topic plus the email or the letter. This is for English B. For English A, you can have two types of writing, informative and interactive. Interactive means letter or email. Informative means they give you a question and they ask you to write about it, or they give you a box of information and in the box you have to write a paragraph about the box of information, as we said at the beginning. So the informative could have two meanings. The first meaning is that you have a question-free statement, and they tell you write a paragraph about the following, or write whatever about the following topic. They give you the topic, or they give you a box, and in the box you have information, and they ask you to write a paragraph about the information you have in the books, sometimes 20 points, 20 information, sometimes 25, 15, and so on. Because be careful, it has each writing in English A has 10 marks. Each writing has 10 marks. The total will be 20 marks. And Mr. Muhammad, you can explain for them how the questions are marked in the writing.
Okay. Regarding, for example, English B, for example, we know that we got 3 questions, for example, in writing. Writing number 1 is out of 4 marks. So the one who is going to mark your paper, for example, is asked to put either, for example, 0 or 1, 2, 3, and 4. So nothing between, okay? And regarding, for example, writing number 2, also the same thing, it's out of 6. So the mark, for example, the one who is going to mark your paper, for example, are asked to put either, for example, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Regarding writing number 3, for example, it is out of 10 marks. So teachers are asked not to give odd numbers. So teachers are asked to put 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8, and 10. Nothing between. So this is actually, and this score will be between 2 markers, okay, marker A and marker B in the marking center. This is all about specification for writing in English B.
جميل. وخالد أيضا عبر الفيسبوك كان يسأل حول هالجزئية. أتمنى خالد أنك متابعنا، وأيضا الأمور واضحة بالنسبة لك. نرجع للاتصالات، ناخذ نور. نور، السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام.
من وين نور تكلمينا؟
من سماعي.
حياك نور. اي نور صح؟
Yes.
أستاذة فاطمة.
Yes, Noor. Hi, how are you?
I am fine. What you teacher?
What's your question, Noor?
My question will be about the kind of the writing that it will be in the exam. Seriously, like the previous semester, it was about opinion. Will be there is opinion in this semester or not?
You are going to have informative writing, where you have to write information about a certain topic. The informative could be in a table with information, books with information, or free writing question, and you have to provide information and write about it. The second writing will be email or a letter.
Email or a letter?
Yes, you are going to have 2 writings, whether email or a letter. Another one is going to be like information. You have to give information. Now the type of question you are going to give information, whether in a free topic, it's called free topic, where they give you a topic, okay, and you have to write about that topic. Like for example, write about weddings in Oman, write about ways of communication nowadays, write about like this, write about tourism in Oman, okay?
Okay, also I have another question. It's all about the spelling and the listening. Sometimes we spell the word, okay, it is the word is general, but we change by the E for A, and we change it like believe. I didn't write E. This will be a problem. It will be a fault. All of it wrong. It is right.
For the listening?
Yeah.
For listening number 2, you mean, right?
Uh-huh.
For listening number 2, as I said before, make sure that you spell the word correctly, because if you look at the words they are asking you to write, they are not complicated words. Whether they are asking you to write like name of a job, whether name of a country, sometimes they ask you to write name of a place, like school, like hospital, like, and so on. So make sure that you spell these words correctly. They are going
No, teacher. I mean that sometimes we write like the word of doctor. We don't write O. We write maybe A. But the other letters it's correct. But we change a letter.
You change a letter in the word, you mean?
Yeah.
So if you change a letter in the word, now this depends on the specification that comes in the marking center. If they say in the marking center, accept the answers, the teachers who is marking is going to accept the answers. But if they say in the marking center, spelling must, if there is the word must, the spelling must be correctly, so it means that the spelling must be correctly without deleting a letter or adding a letter. So make sure that you spell the word correctly, you write the word correctly.
Okay.
Or at least the word can be read, that this is the word which you mean is the same like the word in the answer paper itself.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day and inshallah all the best.
شكرا لك نورة. تفضل أستاذ محمد.
Just a small comment, I mean, regarding this question about spelling, it came a lot in this type of program, for example, you know. And let me actually read these statements from the marking guide, for example, you know. Grammatical mistakes, for example, should be ignored. If the answer, for example, is cooking, and the students, for example, you know, writes, for example, cook, the answer is right, consider right. Number 2, complete accuracy in spelling is not required. I'm speaking about question number 2, for example, you know, items from 11 to 15. Okay, but any misspelled words, for example, must be clearly and conveniently, for example, recognizable as, for example, correct answer to the question itself. So as I said, for example, and Ms. Fatma also said at the beginning of the program itself, is that the most important features of the word itself is clear and can be recognized, you know, the mark will be given for the students. The student will not be penalized, you know. But for example, if the spelling, for example, is awful, you know, and clumsy, for example, we cannot consider the answer is right. So I'm reading all of these statements, for example, you know, from the marking guide. As for example, also point number 3, for example, you know, as stated in the instructions, answer should consist of not more than 4 words. Note, when continuing the words, for example, do not include any words provided by the exam writers. So don't try to write full answer, for example, you know, which consists of subject and verb and object. Just directly, you know, try to give the right answer, you know, which is precise and concise, straightforward to the point itself, which is, for example, student asks to give in the final exam, for example, you know. That's all about this one. So spelling is not important if the answer is recognized. So this is the most important, you know, point I can conclude this question with.
شكرا أستاذ محمد. ناخذ حفصة. حفصة السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
شو أخبارك؟
الحمد لله تمام.
من وين حفصة؟
من ولاية بركة.
من بركة. والنعم بي حفصة صح؟
Hey.
تفضل أستاذ محمد معك. تفضل أستاذ محمد.
Yes, Hafsa, how are you?
I am fine. How are you?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah. Okay, what's your question?
You have a question in the final exam. You have reading, yes? Final reading, you have WX question.
Okay.
Yes? Okay. The teacher, you talk about the students not write for us more answers, but you about this not or right, it is wrong.
You mean not,
right,
you mean not exceeding the limits, for example, you know? The examiner, for example, put a limit of words, for example, you know? The examiner asks you not go for more than these 3 words, for example. Does that what you mean?
Yes. Okay, okay, miss, you have, for example, you have reading, yes? This reading, you have W question, yes?
Okay.
Okay, you write answers, but not full answers, or you just write 4 words.
Okay, this is what is required from you, actually, you know. You are asked to write the shortest answer, you know, possible, which can give the right answer. You are not asked to write, for example, full sentence, which consists of subject and verb and object. Right?
All the students you write full answers and you write not correct. Okay, I back about this. Okay, miss, you have another question.
Yes, please.
You have a box. This box you have information.
Okay.
What about you? You write about this, for example, past simple or present continuous. What about you? In your mind, you write this answer about it.
Okay, this is a good question actually, you know, and Ms. Fatma actually spoke about this at the beginning of this program, okay, about the box which have some information inside that box and you are asked to write a paragraph. Actually, there are some little bit technicalities actually while dealing with this type of question. First of all, students, for example, are asked to read the instructions clearly, you know, to know the topic. For example, about what? Is it about building, for example, or is it about a country, a mountain, or something? Understanding this type of case will enable you to actually know to write a good answer for this question. So let me just take a good example of in this type of exam actually. You know, after that, when you know the meaning of the question itself, you are asked to go and put a roughly order to the information included inside the box itself. Okay, so first of all, you have to understand the question from the instruction given. Second point, actually, you have to reorder the information. And you are given, for example, actually, you know, more than 12 items inside the box itself. That doesn't mean you are asked to write, for example, 12 sentences. No, you are asked also, actually, you know, step number 3, actually, you know, to see which information can be joined together by using type of linking words, for example, you know, in different types of clauses. The information which can be closed together, you know, can be brought together. So 12 items inside the box itself doesn't mean we have to create at the end, you know, 12 sentences. At the end, out of these 12 sentences, 12 items inside the box itself, I can end up write, for example, you know, 8 sentences, but very clean and very straightforward to the point itself. And most importantly, you know, understanding the topic will enable you also to decide on the topic, on the tenses that you are going to use, for example, inside your paragraph. For example, are you going, for example, to use present simple? If it is, for example, just reporting facts about something, you know, that means you are going to use present simple. If you are going, for example, to speak about a person who is alive, who is, for example, still alive, so you are asked, for example, to speak about his past time. So during that time, you are asked to use what? Past simple. And moving, for example, when you speak about his achievement, for example, you are asked to use present perfect, and so on. Okay, so these are the information. First of all, you are asked to understand the topic, and after that, you are asked to write a roughly order to the information itself. Number 3, for example, you are asked to see which information can be brought together and close to each other, for example, so that you can use linking words. And number 5, for example, start writing your paragraph and decide on the tenses itself. Okay, for example, some students, for example, start writing this question like, today I would like to speak about something, or today I read. We are not asking about these types of introductory paragraphs. Stop doing these things. You are asked to go directly to the straightforward to the point.
تمام حفصة.
I understand.
موفقة إن شاء الله. شكرا. شكرا.
Thank you.
شكرا. ناخذ سؤال قد يكون الأخير يعني في هذه الحلقة. هاجر العبري ردت تبعث سؤالها بالإنجليزي. Hi, I want to ask you about reported speech. How can deal with this question?
Okay. Reported speech, it is in page number 5 in the course book. We have 2 types of speech. We have direct speech and reported speech. If we just go at reported speech, it's one of the grammatical rules that we have got here in English A. We use reported speech when the actual words are less important than the information they convey, and reports and the newspaper when reporting conversation, questions and statements. And here we have got example of reported speech. Like for example, number 5 is considered to be reported speech. We say, the weather forecast said that a hurricane was on the way. Reported speech means that you don't write the statement, then you write, said the teacher, replied the doctor, said the mother. No, this is direct speech, where you copy the original word of the or the original speech of the person. Reported speech, that you report it yourself. And here, if you want to know more information about it, because we have plenty types of how to report different speech, go to the grammar reference. We have got here grammar reference starting from page 105 in the workbook. If we just look at them, we have got here, if the direct speech in present simple, you write the report speech in past simple. Like for example, if we have I live in Muscat, you said he lived in Muscat. So for present simple, you report it in past simple. If you have, for example, present continuous, like you are driving too fast and you want to report this statement, what do you say? She said I was driving too fast. Then we have present perfect. I have eaten too much. You said he had eaten too much. So for each type of tense, you report it in another tense. For example, if you have past simple, you report it in past perfect. If you have past continuous, you report it in past perfect continuous. If you have future with will, you report it with would. So this is the general. Then you have again for affirmative and negative, you have for direct, you have for reported, and the things happen in time. For example, in the exact or in the actual speech, you have the word now, you use the word then in report speech, at that time. If you have today, you write that day. If you have yesterday, you write the day before. If you have tomorrow, you write the next day, following day. If you have last week, last month, last year, you write last before, the month before, the year before. If you have here, you write there. So go to the workbook, and because there in the workbook you have details about direct speech and reported speech. You don't have it in the course book, but you have it in the workbook in page 105. So go to the page 105, 106, 107. This is, and also 108, 109 for English A. In the workbook, these pages are very important because you have details which are not mentioned in the course book. That's it about it.
إذا نحن وصلنا لنهاية حلقة اليوم من برنامج درس على الهواء التي خصصناها لمادة اللغة الإنجليزية. هذه المادة التي ستؤدون عليها الامتحان يوم الغد إن شاء الله، وقد يكون الامتحان الأخير لبعض منكم. الشكر الجزيل للأساتذة الذين كانوا معي في هذه الحلقة. الأستاذة فاطمة بنت عبد الله البريكية معلمة لغة إنجليزية، شكرا لك أستاذة فاطمة.
شكرا جزيلا.
والأستاذ محمد بن عامر الهنائي معلم لغة إنجليزية، شكرا لك أستاذ محمد. نلتقيكم إن شاء الله في حلقة الغد التي ستكون مخصصة لمادة الكيمياء إن شاء الله. أتمنى لكم أداء امتحان موفق بإذنه تعالى يوم الغد في مادة اللغة الإنجليزية. هذه تحياتي، تحيات فريق العمل، وتحيات زميلي مخرج البرنامج ناصر شكيلي. إلى اللقاء.